A game I've been really excited about is Negative Atmosphere. This is a game, guys, that reminds me of the Callisto Protocol, reminds me of Dead Space in a major way. You can see it took a lot of things from those games, at least in terms of what we've seen so far. But I wanted to talk about, some of the things that we know, and more recently, obviously, we've been waiting and waiting for an official announcement on when Negative Atmosphere is going to be releasing to the world. So I wanted to talk about this, guys, some of the things that we may want in the game, and some ways that we want it to be different than those other titles that I just mentioned. Let's talk about it, because this is an article coming to us from The Escapist, and that being from Arthur Damien. So basically, gamers wanting their spooky over-the-shoulder video game fix have not been devoid of options. Obviously, guys, the Callisto Protocol, Dead Space, Resident Evil 4 Remake is a spiritual successor to Dead Space. So although the title has no release date, yet it is already receiving a free standalone prequel called Negative Atmosphere Emergency Room, described by developer Sunscorched Studios as a cinematic medical horror experience. The game will hit PC via Steam in early 2023. Audio logs and spooky atmosphere are very Dead Space-like. What is unique, however, is the gameplay for Negative Atmosphere Emergency Room. Instead of fighting terrifying monsters aboard a desolate ship, you are tasked with performing autopsies on dead crew members. Players will control Samuel Edwards, Chief Medical Officer on the TRH Rusanov. You must try to keep the rest of the crew alive with limited resources while witnessing the horrifying events that lead up to the upcoming Negative Atmosphere. It's a creative way to set up a survival horror game for sure, which I think is absolutely true as well, guys. I think that Negative Atmosphere ER is something that is, really special to kind of build that hype and that excitement. This is something where they are, that being the developers over at Sunscorched Studios, are actually using a Patreon to try to really help fund this game. It's a small team working on this, kind of similar to that of like Quantum Air. They're trying to pull this thing off, and obviously I think they're still pretty, they're into development, but it's still, it seems like it could be very well years away. If I had to guess, guys, I would say that we're going to get an official announcement, that being like a release date announcement in 2024, with probably a release potentially in late 2024 or sometime in 2025. That would be my thoughts on an actual release date. Now, in terms of how I want this to be different than Dead Space, as well as a game like the Callisto Protocol, I think it's really important that, the games where horror games that feel very claustrophobic, they're very good in terms of building tension and very unnerving experiences. I think that what I would love to see from Negative Atmosphere is going to be some variety in terms of what the different environments that we're going to be in. Are we just going to be on a ship kind of like Dead Space, or are we going to have some variety here similar to like Quantum Air? The other thing is I really want a huge variety of creatures that we're going to be going up against. And I know, guys, this is a small team working on this, but if you want to, go out with a bang, so to speak, you've got to do some big differences to some of those other games that I mentioned. I think it's very important that the guys over at Sunscorched take their time in terms of creating a lot of variety in terms of weapons, cosmetic items, customizable options, as well as enemies. I think that's very important as well. And differences in terms of, location. When I say that, guys, if, they want, obviously they're going to be on a budget here. So if it's on the ship and just on the ship, I'm fine with that. I just feel, though, that they have to have even more customization options, even more weapons that you can use, that you can craft at your disposal. Having crafting would be really awesome. I just think, guys, that you can see that they're trying to really world build here, because Negative Atmosphere ER. This is something that they're doing some world building while we're waiting for Negative Atmosphere to release to the world. And so Even though we know a little bit about this game, there's a lot that we still have completely unknown about Negative Atmosphere, and I'm very excited to share with you guys as we get more information along the journey. Let me know though, guys, what do you think about Negative Atmosphere, Negative Atmosphere ER? What do you think about this world that's being built over at Sunscorched Studios? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. And for more Negative Atmosphere content and videos, stay here with zrotv.